Have you ever been driving late at night, the world outside your windows a pitch black void, and suddenly felt a chill that has nothing to do with the temperature? That prickling sensation on the back of your neck that tells you you're not alone? We've all heard whispers of strange occurrences on lonely highways, but tonight, we're going beyond the whispers. We're delving into three true stories from people who stared into the abyss from the driver's seat and saw something stare back. These aren't just campfire tales. They're chilling reminders that the most terrifying monsters are real, and sometimes they're waiting just around the next bend. So buckle up, turn down the lights, and pray you're not on a deserted road tonight. You're about to hear three of the most terrifying, true night drive horror stories you'll ever encounter. Story 1. The Marionette on the Mountain Pass. Our first story comes from a truck driver named Mark, who has spent the better part of 3 decades crisscrossing the country. He's seen it all, or so he thought. But one snowy night in the heart of the Rocky Mountains changed everything. This particular night drive horror began on a treacherous pass, one that even seasoned drivers like Mark approached with caution. The snow was coming down thick and fast, reducing visibility to near zero. Mark was crawling along, his eyes straining to see the road ahead. That's when he saw a figure, standing in the middle of his lane. It was a woman, or at least, he thought it was. She was wearing a tattered, old-fashioned dress, completely unsuitable for the blizzard raging around her. Mark slammed on his brakes, his heart pounding in his chest. He expected her to move, to react, but she just stood there, her head bowed. As he got closer, a horrifying detail emerged: her movements. They were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet on a string. He could see thin, almost invisible filaments stretching up from her limbs into the darkness above. He was about to yell out to her, to ask if she needed help, when her head snapped up. Her eyes were wide, vacant, and filled with a terror that chilled Mark to the bone. And then, her mouth opened, wider than any human mouth should, and a silent scream seemed to emanate from her. But the most terrifying part? Her body began to contort, pulled by the unseen strings, into impossible shapes. It was as if something was playing with her, a cruel and unseen puppeteer in the stormy night. Mark didn't wait to see what happened next. He swerved around the grotesque marionette, his truck fishtailing on the icy road. He didn't look back, not even for a second. He just drove, his foot pressed to the floor, until he reached the next town. He never took that route again, and to this day, he swears he can still see that woman's silent, screaming face in his nightmares. One of the most unsettling road trip stories you will ever hear. Story 2. The Whispering Static. Our next story is from a college student named Chloe, who was on a long drive home for the holidays. To pass the time on her solo night drive, she was scanning through the radio, looking for anything to break the monotony of the endless highway. She was in the middle of nowhere, miles from any major city, so most of the stations were just static. But then, she landed on something different. It was a voice, a man's voice, whispering. At first, she thought it was just a strange late-night show, but the longer she listened, the more unsettling it became. The man was whispering her name. Chloe. I see you, Chloe. She froze, her blood turning to ice. How could he know her name? She looked around, her heart racing, but there were no other cars on the road. It was just her and the whispering voice from the radio. She tried to change the station, but it was stuck. The whispering continued, growing more menacing with each word. He started describing things inside her car. The color of her dashboard, the keychain hanging from her rearview mirror, the half-eaten bag of chips on the passenger seat. He was watching her. He had to be. Panic. She ripped the radio's fuse out of the dashboard. The whispering stopped, plunging her into a terrifying silence. That's when she heard the tapping. A slow, deliberate tap, tap, tap on her back window. She didn't dare to look. She just floored it, her eyes locked on the road ahead. The tapping continued for what felt like an eternity before finally fading away. She drove straight to the nearest police station, a hysterical, sobbing mess. They found long, deep scratches on her rear window, but no other trace of who or what had been terrorizing her. This creepy encounter left her with a permanent fear of driving alone at night. Story 3. The Toll Road Collector. Our final story is perhaps the most chilling of all. It comes from a couple, David and Sarah, who are on a road trip to celebrate their anniversary. They had been driving all day and were looking for a place to stop for the night. They decided to take a shortcut, a newly opened toll road that promised to shave hours off their journey. The road was eerily empty. They drove for miles without seeing another car. As they approached the toll booth, they noticed something odd. The booth was old and dilapidated, completely out of place on the modern highway. There was a single, dim light bulb illuminating the figure of the toll collector inside. As they pulled up, the collector, a gaunt, skeletal-looking man with hollow eyes, slowly extended a bony hand. "The toll is one memory," he rasped, his voice like dry leaves skittering across pavement. David and Sarah exchanged a confused look. David, thinking it was some kind of joke, chuckled and tried to hand the man a $20 bill. The collector didn't even look at the money. He just stared at David, his empty eyes seeming to peer into his very soul. "One memory," he repeated, his voice colder this time. Suddenly, a strange feeling washed over David. He felt a part of his mind go blank, a cherished memory of his childhood, his first time riding a bike, simply gone. He looked at Sarah, a wave of panic rising in him. She was pale, her eyes wide with fear. She whispered, "My graduation. I can't remember my college graduation." The toll collector smiled, a horrifying, lipless grin that stretched across his face. The gate in front of them slowly lifted. They didn't need to be told twice. They sped away from the toll booth, leaving the skeletal collector and the strange, memory-stealing road behind them. They never spoke of what happened, but every now and then, one of them will have a fleeting sense of loss, a ghost of a memory that they can no longer grasp. A truly terrifying example of a night drive horror. The open road can be a lonely place at night, a place where the darkness plays tricks on your mind, or maybe where something truly sinister lurks just beyond the reach of your headlights. What do you think? Were these just overactive imaginations, or are there real dangers waiting for unsuspecting travelers on those long, dark stretches of highway? If you enjoyed these creepy night drive horror stories, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tales of the unexplained. And if you have a story of your own, something that happened on a lonely road late at night, share it with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Until next time, stay safe out there and maybe avoid those deserted roads after dark.